Welcome to my channel, MS Old Coins episode, where we dive deep into the hidden treasures that might be sitting in your pocket change right now. Have you ever held a coin and wondered about the incredible journey it has been on, or the story it has to tell? Today, we are going to explore a piece of Australian history. First up, let's talk about the star of our show, the 1998 Australian 50-cent coin. At first glance, it might look like just another piece of change with its distinctive dodecagonal shape, but trust me, this is a coin with a powerful story. It was minted by the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra to celebrate the 200th anniversary of a voyage that changed the map of Australia forever. This coin is not just metal, it is a tribute to two of the most daring explorers in Australian history. So why was this coin made? The year 1998 marked exactly 200 years since George Bass and Matthew Flinders set sail on a journey that would confirm that Van Diemen's Land, which we now know as Tasmania, was indeed an island separate from the Australian mainland. This expedition was crucial because it proved the existence of Bass Strait. Before this voyage, it was just a theory. Bass and Flinders, in a small boat called the Norfolk, braved treacherous waters to chart the coastline and make one of the most significant geographical discoveries in the region's history. The design of the coin itself tells this incredible story. If you look closely at the reverse side, you will see the portraits of George Bass and Matthew Flinders side by side, looking every bit the intrepid explorers they were. Behind them is a detailed map showing the coastline of what was then New South Wales and the island of Tasmania, along with a dotted line representing their historic route through the strait. Every time you hold this coin, you are holding a map of their incredible achievement. Now, I know the big question on your mind is the one you asked. Is this coin really valuable? The answer is a resounding yes, but like all treasures, its value depends on its story and its condition. Over 22 million of these coins were minted for general circulation, so the one you find in your spare change is a common reminder of history. However, that doesn't mean it's without value. Even a well-worn circulated coin is a fantastic piece of history to keep. But here is where it gets really exciting for collectors. While 22 million coins sounds like a lot, the Royal Australian Mint also produced a much smaller number of special collector's versions. They minted around 32,000 proof coins, which are struck with special dies and polished blanks to create a sharp, mirror-like finish. These proof coins are far more scarce and were sold in special packaging to collectors, making them significantly more desirable and valuable than the ones you'd get as change at the shop. The real value, the maximum value we can achieve, lies in finding a circulation coin in absolutely perfect, untouched condition. You see, a coin that was released into the wild for people to spend rarely survives in pristine shape. If you have a 1998 Bass Strait 50-cent coin that has never been spent, with no scratches or marks, and it still has its original mint luster, you could be holding a small fortune. A coin graded MS66, which is a very high grade of uncirculated condition, has sold at auction for over $546. Think about that for a second. A 50-cent piece, which is literally half a dollar, transformed into a collectible worth more than $500. That is an incredible return, and it all comes down to preservation and condition. The maximum value we've seen documented for a high-grade example of this coin is that impressive figure of $546.25 from a major auction house. So, while a common one might only be worth its face value or $1 or $2, the perfect specimen is a different story entirely. What makes this coin so special to collectors is not just its potential high price tag, but the story it encapsulates. It represents a time of immense courage, when explorers sailed into the unknown with limited supplies and rudimentary maps. Bass and Flinders were at the forefront of European exploration in Australia, and their work laid the foundation for future settlement and trade. This coin is a tangible connection to their legacy and a pivotal moment in history. The journey of Bass and Flinders is filled with adventure and tragedy. After their successful voyage, both men continued their explorations, but their fates were very different. Flinders went on to circumnavigate Australia but was imprisoned by the French for several years. George Bass, however, vanished without a trace on a later voyage into the Pacific Ocean, his fate remaining a mystery to this day. This element of mystery adds another layer of intrigue to the coin that commemorates their greatest joint achievement. So how can you tell if the coin in your hand is a common circulation coin or a potential jackpot? The first step is to look at its condition. Does it look like it's been jangling around in a purse for 20 years? If it's scratched, dull, or has worn-down details, it's a piece of history to cherish but not a high-value collector's item. If it looks fresh, sharp, and shiny, like it just came from the mint, then you need to protect it and potentially get it professionally graded. Getting a coin graded is the process of sending it to a professional service like PCGS or NGC, who will examine it under magnification, assign it a grade on a scale of 1 to 70, and seal it in a protective holder. This grade is the international standard for a coin's condition and is what allows it to sell for top dollar at auction. A coin graded MS65 or higher is where you start to see the serious money, with that top-tier MS66 example fetching over $500. Do not just go by the pictures you see online from random auctions where coins sell for a few dollars. Those are often well-circulated common examples. The true value lies in the condition. The coin's catalog number is KM#364, and it's made of copper nickel, weighing about 15.55 grams. These specifications are consistent, but the grade is the variable that determines the price. This coin is a perfect example of why numismatics, the study of coins, is such a fascinating hobby. It combines art, history, and the thrill of the hunt. You're not just collecting money, you're preserving stories. You're holding the same design that commemorates the courage of Bass and Flinders, and you're becoming a temporary custodian of that history until it passes to the next collector. For those of you just starting your collection, this is a fantastic coin to look for. It's accessible, it's historical, and it gives you a goal to strive for, finding that one perfect example. Check your drawers, check your old piggy banks, and definitely check any rolls of 50-cent coins you get from the bank. You never know when that shimmering, perfect coin might appear. Imagine the excitement of finding one that looks like it was made yesterday. That feeling of discovery is what drives collectors all over the world. And with the knowledge that a top-grade example can be worth over $500, the stakes are pretty exciting. It transforms a casual look through your change into a potential treasure hunt. In conclusion, the 1998 Bass and Flinders 50-cent coin is absolutely valuable. It is valuable for its historical significance, valuable for its beautiful design, and potentially very valuable in monetary terms if you are lucky enough to find one in pristine condition. It stands as a proud tribute to two men who helped define the shape of the nation. So here is your mission. Go and hunt. Look at every 50-cent piece from 1998 you can find. Study the details, look for that mint shine, and protect any that look exceptional. You might just be holding a piece of history worth over $500. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Australian coinage, please hit that like button and subscribe for more treasure hunting adventures. I'll see you in the next video. Next coin, this is the coin that every Australian should be checking for in their spare change right now. And I am going to explain exactly why this 12-sided beauty is a hidden gem with some serious potential. When people hear 2001, they might think of the Sydney Olympics that were the year before, or the launch of Wikipedia. But in the numismatic world, 2001 was the year the Royal Australian Mint unleashed one of its most ambitious and diverse coinage programs in history to celebrate the centenary of Federation, the 100th anniversary of when the 6 British colonies united to form the Commonwealth of Australia. You need to understand the history here to grasp the value. On January 1, 1901, the Commonwealth of Australia was proclaimed, and to mark 100 years of that union, the Mint decided to do something they had never really done on this scale before. Instead of releasing just one commemorative design, they released a series of 10 different 50-cent coins. Yes, you heard that right, 10. You have one coin representing the Commonwealth of Australia itself, with the official coat of arms. Then you have 6 coins representing the original states: New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, South Australia, Western Australia, and Tasmania. But they didn't stop there. They also included the 2 territories, the Australian Capital Territory and the Northern Territory, and to top it all off, they even included a coin for Norfolk Island. That means if you are holding a 2001 50-cent piece, you are holding a piece of a massive national celebration. Now, I want to talk about the specific details of these coins, because the physical characteristics play into the value. These are not the small, lightweight coins you might be used to. These are hefty, solid pieces weighing in at 15.55 grams and measuring 31.5 millimeters across. They retain that distinctive dodecagonal, 12-sided shape that makes them instantly recognizable. The composition is a cupronickel mix, which gives them a distinct feel and ring when you drop them on a table. The obverse, the head side, features the Ian Rank Broadley IV portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, the design that was used on Australian coinage from 1999 until her passing in 2022. But it is the reverse, the tails side, where the magic happens and where the value is determined, depending on which state or territory you have in your hand. Let's get down to the brass tacks of value, because that is why you are here. You want to know if this coin is valuable and how much it can sell for. The answer, like with most collectibles, is complicated but exciting. If you have a standard, worn-out 2001 50-cent coin that you found at the bottom of your pocket, one that has been through the washing machine and has scratches and dings, its current market value is not far above its face value. We are talking in the range of $1 to maybe $3 or $4 in that condition. A typical circulated example of the Victoria State coin, for example, is valued at only about $4.13 USD, which is roughly $6 or $7 Australian dollars. But, and this is a massive but, we are not here to talk about pocket change. We are here to talk about maximum value, about the crème de la crème of this issue. To understand the maximum value, you have to look at the mintages. While over 43 million of these coins were struck for circulation, which makes the ones in your pocket change very common, the Mint also produced special versions for collectors. This is where the price explodes. The Royal Australian Mint released these coins in uncirculated mint sets and in gorgeous proof sets. The proof strikes are a different beast entirely. They are struck on polished planchets with polished dies, giving them a mirror-like finish and frosted details that are absolutely stunning. For the 2001 Centenary of Federation series, some of these proof coins even feature colored printing on the coat of arms, making them incredibly striking and desirable. The mintages for these collector versions are tiny compared to the circulation strikes. For example, only around 59,569 of the special proof sets containing these coins were made. When you get into the higher grade, uncirculated coins that have been graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, the numbers get even smaller. For the standard Commonwealth coat of arms coin, at the highest grade of MS67, there are only 4 coins in existence that are graded higher. Think about that, only 4 coins out of millions that are better. That scarcity is what drives maximum value. So what is the maximum value we are talking about? How high can it go? A standard circulated coin might only get you a few dollars, but a perfect, graded, uncirculated example can sell for hundreds of dollars. But that is not the ceiling. The true maximum value lies in those special edition sets. The 2001 Centenary of Federation Proof Coin Collection, the one boxed with all 10 50-cent pieces and the colored $1 coin, originally sold for around $185. Today, a complete, pristine set in its original packaging can fetch significantly more, often selling in the range of $400 to $600, and sometimes even higher depending on the market. And then, there is the Holy Grail. The absolute maximum value for a 2001 Federation 50-cent piece is found in the gold-proof versions. The Royal Australian Mint struck a limited number of these coins in 99.9% gold as part of a special 6-coin set. We are talking about a mintage of only 193 of these gold coins. A coin like that is not just a coin. It is a piece of precious metal and a numismatic masterpiece. A 2001 gold-proof 50-cent coin in its original box could sell for thousands and thousands of dollars, possibly $5,000, $8,000 or more, depending on the auction and the buyers on the day. Let me ask you a question. Why is this coin going to be valuable in the future? You have to look at the trends in the market. People are becoming more and more interested in completing collections. The fact that there are 10 different designs for the 50-cent piece alone means that collectors are always hunting for the one they are missing. This drives up demand for individual coins, especially the ones with the lower mintages from the smaller states and territories. Coins like the Australian Capital Territory, Northern Territory, and Norfolk Island had lower mintages than the major states, making them the key to completing a set. As time goes on, and these coins get older, and as more people try to put together the complete set of 10, the prices for those scarce ones will only climb higher. It is basic supply and demand. The supply is fixed, but the demand from new collectors entering the hobby is always growing. I want you to picture the history for a moment. These coins are not just chunks of metal. They are a snapshot of Australia at the turn of the millennium. They represent a moment of national pride and reflection. Each design features the state or territory's coat of arms. For New South Wales, you see the lion and the kangaroo supporting the shield. For Victoria, you see the kangaroo and the emu, but in a different configuration. For Western Australia, the black swan takes center stage. Each one tells a story about that part of the country. This historical significance adds a layer of value that goes beyond just the metal or the condition. It is collectible because it is history you can hold in your hand. I have seen coins sell for far more than their catalog value simply because two people really wanted them for their collection. That is the human element of this hobby. The maximum value is not a fixed number in a price guide. It is whatever a buyer is willing to pay on the day. And for a coin as iconic as this one, with its stunning design and historical weight, there will always be buyers. If you have a 2001 Federation coin, especially if it is in brilliant uncirculated condition or if it is one of the scarcer territory coins, do not spend it. Do not even think about spending it. Put it in a protective sleeve, keep it safe, and watch the market. Second coin, the 2005 Australian 50-cent coin, featuring the Melbourne 2006 Commonwealth Games design, specifically the version created by a teenage school student, is one of the most heartwarming and surprisingly valuable pieces of modern Australian numismatic history. When you look at this coin, you are not just looking at a piece of currency. You are looking at the dream of a young girl from Victoria that was turned into reality by the Royal Australian Mint, and that story alone adds a layer of value that you cannot put a price on. Let me take you back to the history, to the exact moment this coin was conceived. In the lead-up to the Melbourne 2006 Commonwealth Games, the Royal Australian Mint wanted to do something special to engage the community. They launched a nationwide competition open to secondary school students, asking them to design a 50-cent coin that captured the spirit of the games. Imagine being a teenager and being told that your artwork could end up in the pockets of millions of Australians and collectors around the world. The response was overwhelming, with thousands of entries flooding in from creative young minds across the country. The competition was narrowed down to 6 outstanding finalists, and then the decision was put to the Australian public. In an early example of online engagement, more than 20,000 votes were cast on the Mint's website, with Australians from all walks of life choosing their favorite design. The winner was Kelly Just, a student from the small town of Callanee in Victoria. Her design was chosen because it perfectly encapsulated the joy, the movement, and the uniquely Australian character of the games. Kelly's initials, the tiny letters KJ on the reverse of the coin, are a permanent signature of her achievement, a mark of ownership that makes every single one of these coins a piece of personal history. The design itself is whimsical and brilliant. Kelly just depicted Australian native animals mimicking athletes competing in various sports. You can see the kangaroos and the emus and the other fauna of this land stretching and jumping and playing, embodying the embracing spirit of the Commonwealth Games. It is a fun, emotive, and utterly unique design that stands out from the more formal heraldry you usually see on commemorative coins. The Royal Australian Mint's own designer, Vladimir Gottwald, took Kelly's original drawing and skillfully adapted it into a three-dimensional model suitable for minting, ensuring that the charm of her original concept was preserved in the metal. Now, let's talk about the physical details of this coin because they matter when we discuss value. Like all Australian 50-cent pieces, it is a substantial, hefty coin weighing 15.55 grams and measuring 31.51 millimeters in diameter, with that iconic 12-sided shape that fits so satisfyingly in the palm of your hand. The obverse features the fourth portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Ian Rank Broadley, with the inscription Elizabeth II, Australia 2005. There is a charming detail here that often confuses people. The coin is dated 2005 on the front, but the reverse celebrates the Melbourne 2006 Commonwealth Games, reminding us that the anticipation and excitement for the Games built up a full year before the athletes even marched into the stadium. But here is where we get to the heart of the matter, the value. You asked how many people want to buy it. The answer is thousands of collectors worldwide. This coin taps into multiple collecting themes. You have people collecting Commonwealth Games memorabilia. You have people collecting coins designed by children. You have people collecting Australian fauna coins. And you have people simply collecting beautiful things. The demand is spread across a wide, diverse group of numismatists. And that broad base of interest keeps the market for this coin consistently healthy. The current value depends entirely on which version of the coin you have, and this is the most important part of the lesson. The Royal Australian Mint did something very clever. They released a circulating version of this coin, struck in standard cupronickel, with a massive mintage of over 20 million pieces. If you have one of those in your pocket that has been jangling around with your car keys, its value is not much above face value. A circulated example in average condition might fetch you $1.05 to $3.05. It is a lovely coin to have, but it is not the one that will pay for your holiday. The real treasure, the one with the maximum value, is the version they released for collectors. Alongside the circulation strike, the Mint produced a limited number of these coins in 99.9% silver with a proof finish. We are talking about a completely different beast. These silver-proof coins were struck with specially polished dies on polished planchets, resulting in a mirror-like background and frosted, stunningly detailed designs. They were individually encapsulated and presented in a beautiful sky blue hinged case with a numbered certificate of authenticity. The mintage for this silver-proof version is the key to its high value. Only 5,402 of these silver-proof coins were ever made. Think about that number. 20 million copper-nickel coins for the public, and just over 5,000 silver coins for the discerning collector. That scarcity is what drives the price into the hundreds of dollars. Currently, a 2005 silver-proof student-designed 50-cent coin in its original packaging is valued at around $125, and that price has proven to be very stable over the years. But the maximum value does not stop there. For the true collector who wants the absolute best, there are also uncirculated versions that came in special carded packaging from the Melbourne 2006 Commonwealth Games series. The carded uncirculated version of the Kelly Just design, the one sealed in the colorful aqua, green, and orange Games branded card, has a mintage of 24,806, which is still relatively low compared to the circulation coins, and it can sell for around $7.95 to $15 depending on the condition of the card. To understand the true maximum potential, you have to look at the broader set. The Royal Australian Mint released a whole series of 50-cent coins for the games, one for each sport, designed by Wojciech Pietrnik, plus this student design and a $5 coin for the Queen's baton relay. The complete set of all these coins, stored in an official folder or album, is where the serious money lies. A complete mint collection of the Melbourne 2006 50 cents, including all the sport designs and the student design, has been sold at auction for prices around $80 for a basic set. And for more complete, high-grade collections, prices can reach $300 or more. I want to motivate you to look at this coin differently. You are not just looking for a rare metal, you are looking for a story. The 2005 Melbourne 2006 Commonwealth Games 50-cent coin by Kelly Just is a piece of social history. It represents a moment when a country turned its eyes to its youth and said, "Show us what you've got." It represents the excitement building towards a major international sporting event, and it represents the skill of the mint in taking a schoolgirl's drawing and turning it into a national treasure. The demand is real and it is global. I have seen collectors from the United Kingdom, from Canada, from all over the Commonwealth, searching for this coin to add to their collections because it connects them to the games. The fact that the public voted for the design means that the people feel a sense of ownership over it. They remember voting for Kelly's design. They remember the excitement of 2006, and that emotional connection makes them want to own a piece of that memory. For the copper-nickel version you might find in your change, the value is low now, but do not dismiss it entirely. As the years pass, finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition becomes harder and harder. People are waking up to the fact that these modern commemoratives are the key to the future of collecting. The 2005 student design coin is already over 20 years old. In another 20 years, when the Melbourne Games are a distant memory, this coin will be one of the primary artifacts that remind people of that time. The maximum value I have seen for a single, graded, perfect example of the silver proof coin, with its original box and papers, can approach $200 to $250. For a complete set of all the Melbourne 2006 50-cent coins in mint condition, you are looking at values easily exceeding $400 to $500 for the right collection. And these values have only one way to go, and that is up. As the years go by, and more people discover the joy of collecting these beautiful designs, the competition for the limited supply of pristine examples will only intensify. Think about the legacy of Kelly Just. She is a young woman now, but her name is etched forever into the numismatic record. Every time a collector picks up this coin, they wonder about her, about the young girl from Kalani who won the competition. That human interest story is a powerful driver of value. Coins with a human face, coins with a tangible connection to a real person, always outperform cold, heraldic designs in the long run. If you have one of these in your collection, especially the silver proof or the carded uncirculated version, you should hold on to it with pride. You are holding a piece of Australian sporting history, a piece of educational history, and a piece of art. The market for these coins is active, with dealers and collectors always looking to buy, always looking to complete their sets. The question is not if someone wants to buy it. The question is whether you are ready to part with such a special piece. Do not spend the copper-nickel version if you find a shiny one. Put it aside. Keep it safe. It might only be worth a few dollars today, but it is a gateway coin. It might inspire you to look for the others in the series, to hunt for the silver proof, to build the complete collection. And that journey, the thrill of the hunt, is where the real value lies. The 2005 Melbourne 2006 Commonwealth Games 50-cent coin, the Kellyja student design, is a testament to the fact that value is not just about gold and silver content. It is about scarcity, it is about story, it is about design, and it is about heart. This coin has all of those in spades. It is a modern classic, and it deserves a place of honor in any collection. In conclusion, the current value ranges from a few dollars for the common pocket change version to over $100 for the silver proof, with complete sets commanding several $100s. The maximum value is still climbing, and the future looks bright. The number of people who want to buy it is growing every day as new collectors enter the hobby and discover this charming piece of Australian history. Go check your coin jars, look for the date 2005, look for the animals, and look for the initials KJ. If you find it, you have found a little piece of magic.